falls apart. Can you say ah? I'll feed you. Ah. Hi everyone, this is Helen from Modern Pepper. Thank you so much for joining me today. So you're wondering, what is she eating today? Well, so today we will be making scallop patties with green onions and some dry batter. Typically, Korean pancakes or patties are very heavy in wet batter. So today's recipe will be far less in batter because, you know, at the end of the day, I have to watch my calorie intake because I love eating. I really do. If I don't eat, then I get hangry. And if I get hangry, people around me, they suffer. So I have 3 children and a husband, so I have to make sure I am not hangry. And I'm sure many of you out there could empathize too. But anyway, I just want to show you what we'll be making today. This is fresh scallops with green onions and sliced white onions and some fresh garlic with very little batter. Before we start cooking, I just wanted to give you a small sample taste of, oh, this is still so hot. I hope you can see this. So the beauty of this is that because I'm using far less batter, that it kind of falls apart easily. And you could see how you could see all the vegetables kind of sticking out everywhere. And I'm actually salivating as I'm talking to you. I'm just dipping it in our dipping sauce that we'll be making soon. I'm sure you could hear the crunchy sound of the vegetables through the microphone. So because I put so much vegetables in here, this actually ends up being very satisfying in that I'm just consuming a lot of vegetables and a lot of protein, and it's so delicious. And I feel far less guilty eating it because I'm eating loads and loads of vegetables. So let's get started because this recipe is super easy to make. So today we will be making scallop pan-fried patties with scallions and onions and fresh garlic. It is my go-to recipe when I'm craving seafood pancakes, but I really don't want to consume that much batter. So this recipe is very light in batter in that I don't actually use any batter. Instead, I use Japanese breadcrumbs called panko. And this is available at your local Safeway, or any big grocery chain stores will carry them. So you don't have to go to an Asian or Korean or Japanese market to get this. And of course, I will also have links to buy this so that you can conveniently order from Amazon.com and have it delivered to your house. So when you're ready to make the meal, just go to modernpepper.com and you can print out the ingredient list and the recipe instructions. Let's get started on making our scallop pan-fried patties. That is super delicious, and it's a great appetizer to serve, and also frankly, I just make it as a snack. So for today's recipe, I'm going to take 4 stalks of green onions or scallions, and you just cut it in half like so, and then you just cut it again. So it's about, you know, 1.5 to 2 inches long, and we're just going to put it in here like that. Now the upper part of the scallion, what we're going to do is just cut it down the middle like this. And then once you're done cutting it, stack it together and then just cut it down the middle again. Okay, so we're just roughly chopping this. Take a half of a medium onion and we're just going to slice it thin. So I want you to cut it so that it's super thin like this, because we're just going to crisp it up when we put it in the pan. So the onion will kind of cook just a little bit so that it tastes sweet. The natural sweetness of this onion will be a great flavor enhancer for our scallopy patty. So just toss it in here. Now we need 2 fresh garlic cloves. Now I peel the skin off and I cut the rind off. Cut them into tiny little skinny slivers. So I just want to show you this thin Okay, now if you're not comfortable chopping vegetables and such, just chop them into, finely mince them if that's easier for you. I mean, it's not a big deal if you add minced garlic versus these tiny sliced garlic pieces. There you go. So that's done. And now to our star ingredient. So when you buy scallop, bring it home and put it in a mesh strainer like this. Now, if you don't have a fine mesh strainer like this, put a layer of paper towel, put your scallops in there and cover it with saran wrap and leave it in your refrigerator overnight, because we want the scallop to sort of drain out its natural juices a little bit, or else when we go to cook it, it's just all the moisture and water from the scallop meat will just completely wet the pan and we'll wind up having soggy scallops. So make sure to drain this overnight in your refrigerator. I have about 6 scallops and they're pretty big. And you know, it's up to you if you want to put more or less. It's really up to you. I like it so that 50% of my pan-fried patties are vegetables and the other 50% is scallop meat. But if you want to change that percentage, that's totally up to you. So what I like to do is just cut them sideways like that. And it doesn't have to be a perfect cut, like that. And then I just cut them in half again. So they're just kind of thin slices like this. So it's easy for us to sort of pan fry together. Look at how pretty this looks. The scallop smells nice and salty, and yet it has this sweet fragrance. And then the onions and the green scallions with the freshly cut garlic is just creating this such nice aroma. I could already taste it in my mouth. Now we're going to season it with some salt, just 1 or 2 pinches of salt, black pepper, 2 cups of Japanese panko breadcrumbs. We're going to add some Korean pancake mix. And now if you don't have this, you could certainly use flour. But this again too, you could find at your local Korean grocery store. So I will also have links on my blog to buy this at Amazon.com, so you could just conveniently order it and have it shipped to your house. 3 tablespoons of the Korean pancake mix flour, 2 eggs. Using my Korean kitchen gloves, and if you don't have this, just use your hands or just use a spatula, but I always like cooking with my disposable Korean kitchen gloves. Now just gently mix everything up, and you'll notice that the mixture is kind of still on the dry side, and that's okay. We want to actually make the batter mix more doughy and definitely less runny than usual. Look at this. Oh, this smells so good. I wish you could smell this. The fresh herb aroma of the scallions and the onions and the garlic. And then I could just smell the sea smell of the scallops. I just want to show you how this looks. So it's not doughy enough yet. So we're going to just add a tiny bit of water. So how much water to add? You know, start with a tablespoon and then just mix it up. And be gentle, and just a little bit more of water. So altogether, I added about 1/4 cup of water. At this point, you just want to kind of pack it down a little bit. Cover it with some saran wrap and let it rest in your refrigerator for good 10 to 15 minutes before we put it on the frying pan. Now we will be making the dipping sauce to go with our scallop patties. It is very simple. So this is 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and this is 1 tablespoon of water. Just combine equal parts like so. And this is 1/2 tablespoon of vinegar. And I'm using Korean brown rice vinegar, but any mild vinegar will do. Combine it here. Just drizzle a tiny bit, like 1/3 of a teaspoon. Oh, and the fragrance is so, you can smell the soy sauce and the sesame oil, and then you're getting that whiff of that mild vinegar taste. And I'm just gonna taste it with my finger. So you can mix it with your finger, and it's so good. It's just perfect amount of saltiness, but it's balanced with that vinegary taste, and the sesame oil just makes the sauce so creamy. Now you could serve it as is, but if you want to add a little bit of a kick of spiciness, I would add some cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is so finely ground, but it is so spicy. So just go easy, okay? Not too much. And that's it, just a little bit like that. And let this rest while we cook up our scallop patties. Hi everyone, so we're gonna get started on cooking our scallop patties. Before we start, I highly recommend getting a wire rack and placing it on the side and putting a sheet of paper towel on top so that we could let our cooked patties rest on this paper towel rack. Hi, so make sure your frying pan is heated nicely. Right now my pan is really hot, so I'm going to bring the heat down to medium, and then I'm going to add my oil, about 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to take the mixture that we made and basically kind of make it into a little patty. Press down any of the onions and stuff together so it looks like a nice round patty, and it doesn't have to be a perfect round circle. And then just gently place it down. And the same thing for the second one. Just make a round ball, and then we're going to just press it down like that, and then we're just going to put it in our pan and cook it on each side for a good 2 minutes or until golden brown. Then we're going to flip it over and then just turn it over. Look how pretty that looks. Same thing over here. And it's okay if you get some loose ends here and there, because that's the beauty of this recipe. And the beauty of it is that as you're eating this, the food around the edges will kind of fall apart, and that's how you enjoy eating all the extra bits and pieces of the scallop and the scallions. And you know, I feel less guilty eating this because it's just loaded with so many vegetables. So just cook it a little bit more, 2-3 minutes on each side until golden brown. And you don't have to worry about whether the middle part is done or not, because as it rests on the cooling rack for 2 or 3 minutes before you consume, it will still continue to cook. Now it's time to taste. So I'm gonna, ooh, it's still so hot. Look, it just falls apart. Again, and that's the beauty of this recipe. It's just because of the little batter, everything just falls apart. Scallop with a little bit of dry batter and some scallions. I'm gonna just dip it here. Oh, can you see that? Oh, yum. And in goes into your mouth. Can you say ah? I'll feed you. Ah. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, I would greatly appreciate a like on my Facebook page. If you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will upload a new video every Thursday, so I look forward to cooking with you again soon. And until then, happy eating and see you soon. Bye now.